Hello, I'm Sam Lohman, president of the Art Association. Welcome to TAA Conversations on Art and Peace, a platform where artists and visionaries reflect on how art helps us heal, connect, and build a more peaceful world. Today, we have the profound honor of welcoming a woman whose life and leadership have redefined peace building in Africa. Counselor Dr. Yvette Chesson-Wureh, establishment coordinator of the Angie Brooks International Center for Women's Empowerment, Leadership Development, International Peace, and Security, based in Monrovia, Liberia. Dr. Chesson-Wureh stands among Africa's foremost voices for peace and women's leadership. A distinguished jurist, mediator, visionary, and founder and initiator of the Women's Situation Room, an award-winning early warning and rapid response mechanism against electoral violence, now replicated in more than a dozen African nations. Born into a world, a family of public service and principle, she's the daughter of the late Minister Joseph J.F. Chesson, may his soul rest in peace, whose tragic death during Liberia's 1980 coup profoundly shaped her lifelong commitment to justice, reconciliation, and nation building. From that history, she has forged a legacy grounded in courage, empathy, and the pursuit of peace through law and dialogue. Her achievements have earned national and international recognition, including Liberia's highest civilian honor, the Order of the Star of Africa, Grand Band, awarded for leadership in achieving peace and women's empowerment across the continent. Beyond titles and honor, Dr. Chesson-Wureh embodies a rare fusion of intellect, compassion, and conviction. Through her work, she inspires women, youth, and leaders to see peace not merely as the absence of conflict, but as an art form practiced daily with courage and creativity. Counselor Dr. Yvette Chesson-Wureh, it's an immense honor to welcome you to TAA Conversations on Art and Peace.
Thank you all so much, Sam. I appreciate it.
I'd like to begin by asking you what inspired your journey from law into peace building?
Well, as a lawyer, I believe deeply in the power of the law to bring order and fairness. But I also carried my own pain, the pain of losing my father when he, as Minister of Justice, was illegally executed with other members of President Talbot's cabinet following the assassination of President William R. Talbot in 1980. And also being part of the April 22nd Memorial Group, whose families still live with the scars of that dark day in Liberia's history. That experience taught me that while the law can define guilt or innocence, it cannot on its own heal trauma or restore a nation's soul. And during the Liberian Civil War, I participated in Liberia peace process as one of the leaders in the diaspora, working alongside colleagues, both women and men, abroad and at home. And I witnessed firsthand how women took the lead and united. We transcended ethnicity, we transcended politics, generational, and all other divisions. We became unstoppable when it came to peace for Liberia. And our single focus was peace for Liberia. And when we stood together, we won. And that came to me, it was very clear. That experience confirmed something powerful to me. To sustain our hard-won peace, women must be at the decision-making table. We must shape policies, we must rebuild our communities, and guide that nation forward. You know something President Kagame said to me a long time ago? He said, I want you to know, Yvette, that what people don't realize, I'm going to make women, I'll have the most women in politics and in governance in Rwanda than any other country in the world. And I looked at him, and this was in 2009. And I looked at him and I said to myself, oh, sure. And he said to me, what people don't realize is this: when we are at our most vulnerable, It is the women who take care of us. They are the ones that take care of us when we're babies. They are the ones that take care of us when we're adults. For us to move from the stage where we can feed ourselves, do anything for ourselves, it's the women that are doing it. And my country is a baby right now, and I need women to take care of it. So that really resounded with me, what he said, and he has made it happen. As you well know, he has the highest number of women in the world in governance. So we must be at that thing. We must have equal access to leadership, and we must have inclusion in governance. And so this was how my passion for peacemaking was born, from personal pain and national struggle, from the belief that lasting peace comes when women's voices and leadership are fully recognized as essential in justice, unity, and in progress.
And my goodness, have you not surrounded yourself with powerful women in regards to your former president, Madam Sirleaf Johnson, and Angie Brooks, uh, first and only African president of the UN General Assembly, and brings me to my next question: how does Angie Brooks' legacy, may she rest in peace, um, continue to guide your work today?
Well, she guides my work every single day on as a compass, an inspiration, and a challenge. She showed that women's leadership is not limited by circumstances or geography. Okay, as the first African woman to preside over the United Nations General Assembly, and still the only African woman to be president of the General Assembly, she carried Liberia and all African women onto the global stage with courage, intellect, and grace. And her life reminds us that when women claim their rightful place in decision making, peace and justice become possible. All at the same time, the Angie Brooks International Center, we continue her vision by empowering women and youth to lead in governance, peace building, and social transformation. Every program we create, every young woman we mentor, every space we open for dialogue is rooted in the belief that women must not wait to be invited. No, we must take our seat at the table. We emphasize this on all levels, Sam. We emphasize it from community level to national level. It's important that you take your seat, and we have problems because of our cultural identity, our cultural beliefs. I'll give you an example. When I go to a village in Liberia, anyway, in most African countries, and I go to a village to hold a meeting with the powers that be, the women aren't there. They may have one or two women, but the majority there are men. And in Liberia in particular, they have a phrase, the morning will bring answers. And that phrase goes to the fact that after they've held a meeting with whoever it is that comes in the village, the men then go and talk to their wives at night. And then in the morning, they tell them what decisions has been made. They consult with them, and then in the morning, they tell them. However, my problem with that process is this. First of all, you may not tell her the exact question I have. You may have to change it to what you want it to be or what you thought it may be. I want her present for herself to hear what I have to say, not a translation from you. You see? So morning bringing answers may not be the right answers because she never heard the right question. So Angie Brooks taught us that leadership is service and that peace is sustained when women's voices, shape the future. Her legacy lives in our work and in the countless women who, like her, dare to lead with conviction and compassion.
There's a practical, if I may, there may be a practical cultural precedent for this effective role that women have in the past and continue to play in the African society and Liberian society. I recall sitting at the White House, if you will, in Liberia and watching, I believe there was a field across the way where women were gathering, and primarily older women were gathering. And I believe it was in the context of an election pending. And I asked, what what is this group of women? Why are they gathering like this? And the response was their very presence in and of itself was to subdue violence in relation to the pending election, which by implication recognizes the respect that these women had. And there are oftentimes situations where respect for elders does play a role, and indeed respect for women. And I think it's a beautiful tradition, and how you've embodied that lineage, and you've brought it to an effective, relevant role, sitting at the table and acknowledging the importance of the impact on women that they can have in the situations that you're confronted with, elections and transitions. Very, very admirable. So
Thank
in
you.
moments of tension, elections or transitions, how can art, if you may, art in all its forms, including storytelling, help people find a common ground?
Well, you see, in moments of tensions, what happens is storytelling can become powerful tools for healing, for understanding, and unity. Because it's so important. It's one thing to make a political speech and talk about this and talk about that. But when you have a human being staying there and telling you the real story, their real internal feelings, what happened to them, the circumstances surrounding them, it puts a different spin on it. You connect as a human being with it. It allows people to express pain, fear, and hope in ways that facts or speeches can't do it. So through stories, songs, poetry, theater, murals, and other creative forms of art, and citizens can see themselves in one another's experiences, making it possible to find shared humanity and a common ground, even across political or ethnic divides. So it becomes important. And so the Women's Situation Room uses this. We utilize it, especially when we, the women, have to meet with the youth. We don't just sit and talk to them or at them. We ask them what happened. And they will come and they will tell you, I'm on drugs because of so and so. And it's very difficult. And the politicians come and they will give us $5, Mom. They will give us $5 because, I don't have any way to smoke grass tomorrow or cooking or whatever they're doing. And they will tell you, and you will have to be empathetic as to what they're saying. And you listen to it all, but then you also have to come back at them. Is it worth your life? Where are the politicians' children? And then we have to talk and give them our stories. Where are the politicians' children? They're all outside of the country. They are enjoying themselves. They're in Europe and they're in the United States and drinking clean water. And you are going for $5 to put your life on the line for a politician. We're asking you as mothers, that you can put your life on the line for a politician. I have no problem with it. I want his child in front of you, and you must go together.
Yes.
This is your today, but it's not your tomorrow. You don't know what your tomorrow is going to be.
Yeah.
Let us try and clean you up. So we have to have those kinds of discussions with them. And we've been able, through the Women's Situation Room, by storytelling and being empathetic when they gave their stories and listening to them and finding ways, even after the Situation Room, to assist them. We've been able to move forward and to have less violent elections. That now that when I go back to some of the countries, the first thing they say, let their children come. And it's become their call, let their children come. Counselor, we're with you. What do you want us to do? And they have become messengers of peace as well. So that's what has happened with us.
You're a gifted speaker, and you have a message, and you deliver it with eloquence. And I must say that you have we just had the pleasure of interviewing a very well-known fashion designer, and you definitely have a fashion sense that commands attention, whether you're in the North America, Europe, or Africa. And I do believe that creates and enhances the message. You not only are able to command attention by virtue of your message, your storytelling, but also your presence, which I've witnessed firsthand. Now, how is there one key lesson from the Women's Situation Room that you can share with us in a nutshell? This incredible program that you've established, which has been adopted throughout the African continent and has had an immeasurable positive impact in terms of the lack of violence, death, and so on and so forth in the context of transition, elections, and so forth. Please give us one aspect. It's a completely it's a subject that demands hours of discussion, but for the purpose of our discussion today.
Thank you ever so much, and we're pleased to state that for the first time, the United Nations Security Council has found it as one of the best mechanisms in the world in peace and security. So this was done at a Security Council meeting. But one of the key things I think that you get out of it is that inclusive dialogue led by trusted community figures, especially women, can prevent conflict before it starts. You know, the WSR shows that when women come together across political, ethnic, and generational lines to create this neutral space for dialogue, they can then diffuse tensions. We can promote understanding and hold leaders accountable to peace. The moral authority that we then have, calm presence and commitment to community well-being often succeed when political institutions are struggling. And this approach can be applied anywhere, create a safe, respectful space where all sides feel heard, ensure women and youth are meaningfully involved, and use dialogue, not confrontation, as the first response to rising tensions. And in short, the Women's Situation Room teaches that peace begins with inclusion and listening.
Wonderful.
So I think that...
And you know, there's a tremendous potential intersection between the incredible work that you're doing and our international community of artists for peace that could facilitate the good work that you're doing by virtue of our mission at the Art Association is to encourage peaceful engagement through art, and art in all its forms, including storytelling. So I'll pose the question that I pose to every one of the guests that we sit with. And how do you feel art can influence inner, community, and world peace?
Well, I believe that, that art is not just a creation, it is an intervention. And in times of division, artists have the power to remind humanity of its shared heartbeat. Through music, murals, poetry, films, and performances, artists can speak where politics fails and heal where wounds. And you carry the ability to transform fear into empathy, pain into purpose, and memory into movement. As the Women's Situation Room has shown, peace is not only built in conference halls, it is also born in stories, colors, and rhythms that touch the soul. So continue to use your art as a bridge, between communities, a mirror for truth, and a light for those who have lost hope. Keep creating, keep connecting, keep believing that every bright stroke, every lyric, every performance can move the world one step closer to peace. And it can be done. We've seen it, you've seen songs like We Are the World. You saw how it brought people on board. Art can move where politics fail consistently.
My goodness,
that's how.
What a wonderful message to our TAA's International Community of Artists for Peace. very profound, with incredible impact. Dr. Chesson-Wureh, on behalf of the Art Association and our international community of artists, educators, and peace builders, thank you. Your life's work reminds us that peace is not an abstraction, it's something we practice every day. Through your example, you show that honest conversation builds understanding, that communities themselves can become works of art, and that the justice, when pursued with compassion, is indeed a noble art. At the Art Association, we honor the way you have brought purpose, vision, and heart to the pursuit of peace, and how your example continues to inspire others to lead with integrity, empathy, and imagination. Thank you for reminding us that peace is both a calling and a creation, and that through what we make, say, and do, each of us can contribute to the art of peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.